back in with another stream, and this time we'll be recapping the WNBA, and we're gonna be talking about last night's games between the we're gonna talk about last night's game between the Minnesota Lynx and the Phoenix Mercury. We're gonna start with that. The Mercury won by the score of 79-71 over the Minnesota Lynx. The Mercury moved to 14-6, while the Lynx fall to 17-3. The story of that game, we're gonna talk about for the
Hello, Moto.
I hate these. Sorry about that. I hate these spam calls. It's right in the middle, and I'm making a video. Anyway, so getting back to what I was saying, the story of the game was for the Minnesota Lynx. Courtney Williams, Nafisa Collier, and Bridget Carlton, were the only players in double figures. Courtney had 21 in 32 minutes. Nafisa Collier had 36 points. Nafisa Collier had 18 points, in 36 minutes. And Bridget Carlton had 10 points, 4 assists and 2 rebounds in 34 minutes. Just the Lynx, to me, in the second half just did not have enough to keep up with the Mercury. They to me, they slowed down a lot in the second half. Their offensive style, their game plan in the fourth quarter just wasn't enough. They got completely out-hustled and outscored in the second and fourth quarter. That's pretty much what's the difference. And then for the Phoenix Sun, Alyssa Thomas. To me, this is why I believe Alyssa Thomas should have been in that starting lineup for the West on the All-Star game. I don't know why she was not in there, because she was absolutely on fire last night. She had 29 points in 34 minutes. Sammy Whitcomb had 10 points. And Monique McConney, she had 13 points. She was just on fire. And I don't think Satu Sabali, I don't think she played. Dewana Bonner, who was back playing for her old team with the Mercury, she came back and she had 7 points in 26 minutes. So it kind of goes to show you that the Mercury was just all over it. They were just all over it from the very beginning. They just took it to them, no matter what, at what cost. They just took it to them at what cost, no matter what. And so that's what I took from that. It's just the Mercury. They had a lot. They have a lot of good players. They have a lot of talent that really takes it ahead. It really puts it on point. And to me, when they get into their moments where they're creating shots and creating opportunities, creating waves for themselves, they really know exactly how to get into their spot, create their shots, get into their spots, and know how to really make stops and really get out and run in transition, and really know how to really just attack and really put the defenses on their Achilles heels. And that's what I saw last night from them. That really just put it all together. Now let's look at what happened between the Chicago Sky, and I'll talk about them in another game. But Chicago Sky won by 11 over the Dallas Wings, and they moved to 6-13, while the Dallas Wings fall to 6-15. Both teams, pretty much are on a rebuilding stage. But this shows a highlight for Paige Bucher. She had 17 points. J.J. Quinley had 16 points in 31 minutes, and while Paige Bucher's had 17 points in 36 minutes. Lee Yuru had 18 points. Well, it just wasn't enough. But when you got, of course, for the Chicago Sky, whereas Angel Reese was in double figures, but Rebecca Allen, she came off and just absolutely was on fire. She had 27 points in 27 minutes. Rachel Banham had 11 points. Ariel Atkins did not have a good game. She completely struggled from the field. She only had 7 points in 26 minutes. But the story was the Chicago Sky's bench with Rebecca Allen and also Camilla coming in and doing her thing. I think they switched up the lineup, and they really kind of just put it all together, man. And that just kind of what shows you the difference in just how teams effortlessly, when you put the effort together and when you put the effort like on point, that's what really kind of puts the notice on teams. So I really like the way they just continue to really just bring the effort throughout the entire game, and they had full control the entire way. They didn't let up no matter what cost from all the way from the first all the way through the fourth. They just put the foot on the gas and put the pedal to the metal. Angel Reese once again was in double figures, and Angel Reese constantly gets better and improves. She was selected on the second All Star team, which I already talked about in another video. But really good game for her. I really like the way she's been playing. She's really been constantly improving. And Paige Buchers, if it wasn't just for her, she probably win Rookie of the Year. But Sonia Citron has also been playing well, and Kiki's been playing well as well. I'll talk about them in another video about that. But yeah, really strong game from the Sky and their bench. They really just put it together, and they just really find ways to win and find ways to just at least while both teams and while for the entire season they haven't really been playing. That's why the record has been saying is what they've been saying. They're trying to find ways to improve and get better as the season goes on. Now, let's recap this other game that I really wanted to get into is the absolute demolishing that the Golden State Valkyries had done to the Indiana Fever. They absolutely destroyed them by the score of 80-61, and the Fever gave them a run in the first quarter, but the Valkyries just completely outplayed them the entire way. The story of this game was Veronica Burton and Caitlin Thornton. They were just absolutely just dominant and all over the place. I mean, they were hitting shots all over. The Fever had no answers for them, especially for Veronica Burton with 21 and Caitlin Thornton with 18. Kate Martin came in. She, did some stuff. She did her thing or whatever. But the story of the game was just pretty much Veronica Burton and Kayla Thornton and just the Valkyries' ability to just continue to shoot the lights out. They shot at least around close to 40% from the field. They shot close to 50%. Close to 40% from the 3-point line and close to 50% from the field. The Fever just had absolutely no answers. The Fever, with the return of Caitlin Clark last night, you would have thought that would have gave them a bit of a minimum of a spark, but it turns out the Fever's offense completely slowed down. It completely slowed down all the way, and you can just tell that they just did not have enough gas in the tank. They did not have enough gas in the tank at all, man. It just seemed like to me, people thinking that Caitlin Clark's return was going to give him a lot of energy, give him a lot of boost. But it seemed like to me they were playing a little bit better, a lot better without her in the lineup. And then even with Ari and her in the lineup, you thought they would have played a lot better. But defensively, their defense was just slowed down. Their offense slowed down tremendously because the pace is not picking up, and it wasn't a whole lot of ball movement. It was too much isolation ball, and that's what a lot of story is with a lot of the stars. You gotta have a lot more ball movement instead of being isolation basketball and taking a lot of poor selected shots, because their poor shot selection cost them this game yesterday. Because a game like this, you're gonna look back, and games like that when you're losing to the Western Conference teams like this, you're gonna look back and be like, man, we could have won these games if we just came in and showed our heads and played with the best effort and played with our best effort to win. But it just seemed like to me they did not at all. They didn't really come in to really play with their best effort, and that's what really showed the Raiders' ugly hand in the difference. And to me, I just thought the Fever just played poorly throughout the entire, the end of the first half and throughout the entire second half. They just did not come. They just did not come with it to play, while Golden State was just absolutely on point throughout, and they just were just able to just struck in front of the field, get inside the basket, and really just really did their thing all over. So, Marina Lopez, how's it going? But yeah, they just able to stroke it and able to get it all day and just stroke it all over and just continuously to put it together. So yeah, my thoughts is just, to me, Golden State is a team that I'll be looking out for. The Valkyries I will be looking out for, because they got a bunch of shooters, they got a bunch of scorers, they got a bunch of girls that they really just know how to put it together, man. They know how to just played right now so far as a unit, and they're continuously hitting on all their strides, man. And I really am impressed with what they're playing. After a lot of time, after early on in the year, they start off really slow. They've continuously picked it right back up. And as far as the Fever, they got to get better as far as the ball movement. They got to get better instead of having this one-on-one isolation ball, which is not helping in any matter. So, yeah, I think that they got to improve in that aspect. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts about that. Both teams. We'll see how the game goes. I wouldn't continuously live off of the hype, but I think they'll get better. And Aaliyah Boston and got to get involved more. And definitely Kelsey Mitchell and Natasha Howard got to get involved more because they can't have games where Aaliyah Boston's only having 6 points and Natasha Howard's only having 4 points. And they want to continue to make a run for Destiny for a title. They got to have better games than that. All right, so let's talk about the controversy that happened on Tuesday night because I wasn't able to talk about this game. So the Washington Mystics won by 2 over the Chicago Sky, 81-79. Now this is the controversial call that people have been saying that they called the foul late in the game on Angel Reese. I believe I don't know if it was I forget. I think either Brittany Sykes. I think Brittany Sykes was the one that went to the free throw line, and they called the foul on Angel Reese on that play. But I was wondering to ask the fans: did Brittany Sykes get fouled by Angel Reese? Did Brittany Sykes get fouled by Angel Reese? And that's how they were able to watch the Mystics was able to steal that game. And no, that wasn't for me. No, that shouldn't have been a controversial call because it was easily a non-foul call at all given cost that really cost the Chicago Sky that game and really cost them that because that could have been the overtime and as the Sky was controlling throughout the entirety of the second half, that cost them the outcome of that game and that really cost them a win and that pretty much referees took it from them and that was pretty much stolen from them. So it's not really no controversial to me at all, but my question to the fans is who are watching, did y'all think that was a foul on Angel Reese? Which I don't really think it was. But they made that call and it was poor judgment as well. And that kind of just showed me that that the officiating was not going to let the Sky get involved and get back into the game and really make it matters. And they didn't want it to go into overtime anyways. So Shakira Austin, Sonya Citron, and the rest of the starting lineup at that time for the Mystics were all in double figures. And as for the Sky, all 4 players from this game, Elizabeth Williams and on down, and Angel Reese had another double-double with 22 and 15. Everybody else was in double figures. Also with Rachel Banham, she had 13 points in 25 minutes. So like I said, the Sky did their thing in the second half and mainly in the fourth quarter. But yeah, that bad call, which is not no controversy, is pretty much cost them. And last but not least, all right, let's talk about. Did I recap this? Alright, so I don't think I did recap everything. Oh, I didn't talk about this. So the Aces and the New York Liberty won by 9 over the Aces by the score 87-78. Jackie Young, Joelle Lloyd, and Chelsea Gray and Nalissa Smith were in double figures. They changed the starting lineup for centers. They starting to play her a lot more. Aaliyah Nye did not really have a really good game at all. Had no points in 18 minutes. And as for the Liberty, everybody was in double figures that night. Sabrina Ionshu and Leonie Fayabich. She was in double figures. Brianna Stewart, was in double figures. Kennedy Burke was in double figures, and Marion Johannes was in double figures. So the Liberty had at least all 6 players, excuse me, all 5 players in double figures. Um, and, and Moana James was just absolutely on fire. She completely did her thing. The Liberty just was just a better team just that night, man. They were just on point constantly. They were just constantly on point and delivering, man, at all costs. Whenever the Aces try to make a run, especially late in the third quarter with like 4 or 5 minutes left, and then in the fourth quarter, and try to make a little bit of a turn, a push, the Liberty just find some way to shut it all down and completely was scoring all over, and they just completely just controlled the outcome and the pace, and the Aces just didn't have no answer. So that to me was the difference, is the Aces just did not have an answer defensively. Try to get stops, to get rebounds. They got out rebounded in this game by like at least about 9. So that would be the difference in the game of what I saw. So good win for the Liberty once again, as they've been kind of been up in the road, up in the air at certain points, but when it comes down to it, they know they find ways to get the job done and make it interesting. All right, so that's all the scores and recaps and highlights I want to talk about. Let me see if there's any WNBA news. All right, so as your recent Paige Bucher's clash, um, as a WNBA fan, so everybody reacts to it. So one of the underlying storylines was Wednesday's showdown between the Sky and the Wings, which I talked about just now. 2 of the brightest young stars in the league going toe to toe between Angel Reese and Paige Buchers. In the end, Angel Reese, who secured the win over Paige Buchers, as the former helped led Chicago to an 87-76 win at the Wintrust Arena. Reese extended a double streak to 7 games with 15 points, 6 to 10 shooting to go along with 11 rebounds and an assist and a block in 30 minutes of action. Buchers, on the other hand, struggled with her shot, going just 5 for 20 from the field with 17 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals in a loss. Buchers and Reese clash was an entertaining battle at one that prompted a strong reaction from the WNBA. It said Battle of the Fives. As you can see, Reese and Buchers, the Battle of the Fives. And it was Reese who won the battle on Wednesday night as the Sky go up 3-0 against the Wings this season. Chicago has improved to 6-13 with this victory, who has jumped to the number 10 spot, overtaking the Wings, who are now 6-15 in the LA Sparks. Up next for the Sky is a home matchup against the Lynx on Saturday, which I'll be able to cover that game, while the Wings will gear up for their highly anticipated matchup against the Indiana Fever on Sunday. And after Reese taking on Reese on Wednesday, Buchers will now go off against Caitlin Clark on Sunday and be their first individual battle of the WNBA level. So yeah, really strong. Well, in this case, in that point, Battle of Fives. I really do think that that both of these girls will really be will really more so eventually become the faces of their teams and the faces of the league at certain points. Paige Buchers is a lot to be proud of because she is constantly improving and trying to get better. Just last night wasn't her night, but she's constantly getting better. She really is adding a lot to really help and make the Dallas Wings a lot more special. And as far as Angel Reese is concerned, her extending her double-double to 7 games, she's just constantly getting better and better, like I said, earlier on as the season weighs on and improves. So I cannot wait to see the bigger things that both of these women will be doing. Both of these young women will be doing, and it just really makes it worthwhile. I can't wait for there to have more matches in the future to make it more interesting. And for me, it makes it a compelling storyline. And yeah, that's all I really pretty much got to say. And really good clash the other night as I was able to see it, and man, it was the Sky was just able to do their thing, and Angel was able to just completely just get inside and really attack the rim and attack her matchups too at will. So yeah, a really good way to showcase both women stars at night, and I can't wait to see both of them doing big things in the future. I heard you. Hey, hey. You see, I'm doing a stream. Hey. Sorry about that, guys. All right, the last topic I want to talk about is Kevin Durant. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what I want to talk about. I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna talk about the last topic I want to talk about is the Kevin Durant comments on Michael Jordan, and while praising LeBron James' on longevity. All right, guys, I'm back. So the last topic I want to talk about is Kevin Durant's comments, who pretty much took a little cheap shot at Michael Jordan when he said to praise LeBron's longevity when he said the some people want to play baseball remark is a clear reference to Michael Jordan, who famously left the NBA in '93 during his prime during his prime to pursue a brief career in the minor league baseball before returning to the Chicago Bulls in '95. All right, so I'm gonna lay you guys the full hot headlines and the comments that Durant made when he had LeBron on his podcast. So here we go. So while praising LeBron's longevity originally appeared on the Fadeaway World, Durant isn't one to shy away giving props when it's due, especially when it comes to greatness. On the latest episode of the Mind the Game podcast, along with LeBron and Steve Nash, a two-time NBA champion and all-time scoring machine, dropped what can be only described as a slide cheeky jab at Michael Jordan, when giving high praise to LeBron's unmatched longevity. When discussing the mental and emotional demands of building a legendary career, Durant reflected on the lessons in which he learned from watching legends and those who fell short of their potential. It's hard for you to, be ready for what's ahead. I've seen guys like you guys drove me. You drove me every day. I go watch your games, check your box scores. I'm like, all right, if he's on that level, why can't I be that same level too? And he emphasized that he simply isn't talking about talent or accolades. It's the willingness to recommit over and over again. It's to recommit over and over again. When your trophy case is full, that's when he slipped in the line and raised eyebrows. Yeah, all right, like I'm 10 to 12 years in, got 4 MVPs, 4 championships, but I still do want to do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people say he'll want to go to play baseball, then come back, and other people say I'm going to go to 22 straight. You know what I'm saying? So, also, in spite of those comments, it didn't take a genius to connect the dots, and some people want to play baseball remark as a clear reference to Michael Jordan, who famously left the NBA in '93 during his prime to pursue a brief career in the minor league baseball before returning to the Bulls in '95. And then the follow-up, other people go to 22 straight, is a crown-polishing moment for LeBron James, who is now entering his 23rd season and has never taken a break from the game. No retirements, no sabbaticals, just relentless basketball excellence, and for over 2 decades. Okay, so, and then the court continues to talk about the conversation about Jordan's 6 rings, 6 for 6. He was clearly placing different kind of value career experience. Talking about his scoring, Kevin Durant being listed in the score leader title and 30,000 career points. And he says LeBron, for his part, sat back and laughed, no needing to say a word after all, while Kevin Durant is out here casually drawing a line between you and Michael Jordan and choosing your side. That says more than enough. Okay, I'm done reading this article. So this already is just like really, really crazy to hear. So my thoughts about this whole Durant talking about a little cheap shot jabs at MJ, for you want to play baseball, leaving baseball his career in '93 and returning to the Bulls in '95 and all that. Okay, let me just say this. Kevin Durant recently accomplished a milestone mark by getting to the 30,000 career point mark. He's won at least three or four scoring titles in his entirety of his career. 2 championships, a 2-time Finals MVP. And I believe I think he had won 1 league MVP if I'm not mistaken. But Kevin Durant's comments about this, it's like, no, dude, you should not be making these comments about MJ when MJ's been playing for 14 years. He was 1 for 9 in the Eastern Conference. I may call you 1 for 9 against Eastern Conference opponents. He did not have the luxury of having a free agency like you guys have had. You guys have had ability to pick and choose where you want to go in free agency, to go to teams wherever you want to go. The controversy surrounding where you're going to Golden State wasn't because that you couldn't win there or you couldn't win wherever you want to go. That's not the point. The point of the matter was you joined the team that beat you, that was the enemy in the Western Conference. And for LeBron, you joined the team right in the middle of them, and back in 2006 winning a championship, and you had one of the biggest final meltdowns of your career when you was getting shut down by Sean Marions, the J.J. Bareas, and Jason Terrys. That's why people are not looking at y'all in the same breath, in the same lines, on a Michael Jordan level, who didn't have the guarantee to get $40+ million contracts. Jordan got $33 million guaranteed contract money, and that was the highest he ever gotten. You guys had the luxury to getting more, and it's not because of athleticism, it's not because of just y'all play, it's because the inflation of the league is why you got that contract. Jordan wasn't able to do those kind of things. And also, another mark about Jordan, about Durant's comments, Jordan has won, 10 scoring titles? He won a scoring title, MVP, league MVP, I might add, a finals MVP, and a championship in the same goddamn year. Have y'all guys have accomplished that? I don't think so, man. And this is not me trying to, put Michael Jordan, this narrative of Jordan as the GOAT, of why I'm making these comments. No, I'm making these comments because it's just arrogance coming from somebody from a guy who I did respect at one point in time, who I would have never expected him to come out with this kind of outlandish take and crazy take. For you to make a reference to Jordan's leaving a career in baseball, to make a reference to LeBron never taking a game off. LeBron has had 2 seasons where he's not played a full, or at least 3 seasons, where he's not played a full 82 games. So what are you talking about? And then don't even realize if Jordan would have played a more than a 14-year span of his career, he probably would have won more championships. You never would have known, and there was never going to be a chance for you to for you or LeBron to even have a chance to even chase that ghost, to even get close to those titles and league MVPs and finals MVPs. There's not even going to be a chance for you to even do so. And because of the age that you're at, KD's like 35, about to be 36, and LeBron's pretty much 40, there's no way that you're even going to even get close to even chase those titles. So to make these kind of comments is absolutely asinine. And also, another thing is, Jordan probably is looking at y'all. Yeah, y'all probably going to be sitting at the table because of your accomplishments and your career accomplishments. But he's not looking at you guys in the same way that he looked at Kobe, that he looked at Tim Duncan, that he looked at Kareem. He's not looking at you guys that way because they did it the right way. They stayed with their team for as long as they possibly could to make efforts instead of trying to go with controversial free agency moves and controversial, feelings and having this much estrogen and having this much bravado, while at the same time being known for exploiting toxicity, man. And that's the thing, man. And that's the thing that this reigns just a bunch of BS right here, man. And I just don't like the way this is gonna be. This is looking out for it. So yeah, man. My thoughts is I think KD is absolutely full of it with some of these comments and remarks towards MJ, and I really think this is a shot in the dig. And this is coming from a person who is an Indiana native. We robbed and faced the Chicago Bulls all my life that I've been watching the game. We've been robbing and facing off with them, all my life. So I've bread and butter been raised to watch my Pacers give the Bulls actually their best competition during the days when we had Reggie and Mark Jackson and Jalen Rose and the Davis boys and Rick Smith and et cetera, et cetera. So I've seen it all happen. So this is not me praising anybody. This is me letting you guys know that these kind of remarks and these kind of comments are just asinine. And and that's all I got to say about that. I think guys like KD needs to focus on the latter half and the part of his career and worry about what is he gonna do, and how is the Houston Rockets gonna settle in, try to compete to even get to that mark of a title with your new team, with your new roster, instead of worried about other things and worry about the offseason. Instead of just trying to go back and make asinine comments like this, in my opinion. But anyways, that's all I got to say about this topic. Oh, and before I leave, Bradley Beal and the Suns are looking to buy out from the Phoenix Suns. So now the former All-Star lands a free market, and people are asking the question, where is his best landing spots? And I wasn't gonna talk about this, but I'll try to do this real quick because I feel like this is gonna be something that's gonna be real quick. Let me pause that real quick. So the rumors are of Bradley Beal that they're gonna get bought out by the Phoenix Suns. And I guess the primary destination that people are saying for that are saying for Bradley Beal to go to is possibly the Clippers, and that is not a good move at all. I don't think he should go to the Clippers. I don't think that's going to work out at all. To me, I don't think Bradley Beal is going to add much to what the Clippers are doing. I think for what I've seen, that they did just trade Norman Powell for John Collins. So I think they're probably looking for a shooting guard, but I don't know if Bradley Beal's going to be that answer. I don't think he's going to be what they all were looking for. But in my opinion, they need to go with they probably need to go with somebody for another guard with some really good status. In my opinion, I just don't think that Bradley Beal is going to be the right fit for them. And I think it's going to be the same problem that when they had Russ and when they had Paul George. I don't think it's going to work out the way that it's going to work out. So, but they did trade for John Collins, which that is a good deal for them. I think that John Collins will add something to that forward position to make Kawhi Leonard go back to the 3, which I think Kawhi Leonard, don't get me wrong, I think he's a good 4, but I think Kawhi Leonard is better at the 3. So adding John Collins in there for Norman Powell, from what I've heard and from what I saw, is good. But I don't know if adding Bradley Beal is gonna make a difference in that sense. But really good moves that the Clippers are making, and I like the way that they're trying to look at the forward position and not just focus on more so the score, but focus more on their defense a lot and rebounding, because that was their main problem, was the rebounding, especially against the Denver Nuggets. But at the same time, score low, because you got Chris Dunn, you got Bogdan Bogdanovic, so you still got some scoring, when they get hot. So I think that's a decent move for them, and then you just re-sign Nick Batum. So the Clippers will be okay. They just gotta find some ways to find some another 2 guard to really focus on just the defensive aspect and also scoring like a 3-and-D player. I don't know if Bradley Beal's gonna be the right pick. But anyways, that's all I got to say, guys. I want to thank you guys for watching this page. I will be back with some more content about in another 25-30 minutes from now. I'm probably going to be talking about something else. But until then, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out, and like, share, and subscribe.